Hi everybody, it's Crystal. Today I'm going to show you how to make this headband ear warmer. It's made with these bobble stitches. So it's pretty easy. I'm using Lion Brand Hometown USA, which is a super bulky number 6. It's 100% acrylic. And the color I'm using is called El Paso Autumn. And there are 64 yards in this skein, and I used about 1.5 skeins, so maybe 90 yards or so is what you'll need of the super bulky yarn. And then I'm going to be using N, which is a 9mm crochet hook. And then you're going to need a couple buttons, probably about 1 inch thick or 1 inch wide, to sew on to button it up with. But they can be a little bit bigger than that too if you wanted them to be. So we're going to start out with a slip knot on our hook. And you want to start off with a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now in the second stitch from the hook, remember we don't count the one on a hook, so the second one we're going to do a single crochet. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. So when you get to the end, you should have 9 single crochets. And 9 is the magic number. That's the amount we need to keep the whole way through. Just like that. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Starting in this very first stitch here, I'm going to single crochet. And I'm going to put 1 single crochet again in every stitch across. So you still should have 9 single crochets at the end of this row. And this is the row, this little flat area right here that we're doing is where we'll sew our buttons on at the end. Okay, now we're going to start doing our bobbles. And you can look and see the pattern that they are in. They're in kind of a diamond pattern. And it's really easy to do it. You see they're in that pattern the whole way across. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn. I'm going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch for 4 stitches. So starting in this very first one, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the next one we're going to put a bobble because it's the middle stitch of the 9. So how we're going to do the bobble is we're going to yarn over, go in the stitch, drop a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. And we're going to do that 4 times total. So that was 1. Do it again, yarn, same stitch, yarn over, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. That's 2. Yarn over, go in the same stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2. That's 3. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2. That's 4. And you'll have 5 loops remaining on your hook. You want to yarn over and go through all 5. Pull it tight, and that is the bobble. Now what we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in the remaining 4 stitches. So just go straight down. We're not going to chain 1 or anything. Just straight down and single crochet in the last 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And if you look, the bobble's right there. The bobble's always on the opposite side. Now we need to do a row single crochet across. So it's going to be 1 single crochet in every stitch again. starting in this very first stitch, so it still should be 9. We'll go in and put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one is the top of this bobble. If you flip it up, you can see it right there. Go right into that, and that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like that. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do a row of bobbles again. So now we need to do it. We're going to do 2 bobbles, but they're going to be on each side of this one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 3. So here's 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to put a bobble in the 4th one. So we're going to yarn over, go in, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. And we do that 4 times. So that was 1, yarn over, go into the same stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2. So that's 2 times. Again, yarn over, go through the first 2. That's 3 times. And 1 more time. Yarn over, go through the first 2. That's 4 times, and you should have 5 loops remaining. Yarn over, go through all 5 loops, pull tight, and now we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next stitch, which would be the 5th one. And now we're going to do a bobble in the 6th stitch over. So we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, do that 4 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 5, pull it tight, and we're going to 1 single crochet into the last 3 remaining stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now we got the row of 2 sets of bobbles. Now we need to go across, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch again, and it should be 9. So starting in this very first one, that's 1, 2, 3, and then the next one is on top of the bobble, right kind of here behind it. That's 4, and then the one in between the bobbles, 5. The next one is on top of this bobble. That's 6, and then the last 3 makes 7, 8, and 9. Now we're going to do our set of 3 bobbles. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So first one, there's 1. The next one, there's 2. Now the 3rd stitch is going to get a bobble. So go ahead and do your bobble in the 3rd stitch. Remember, we do this yarn over, pull all through the first 2 loops 4 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, go through all 5, and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And now we're going to bobble into the next. Sometimes I just don't get the yarn's splitting on me. Yarn over, go through all 5, pull it tight, single crochet into the next, and then one more bobble into the next stitch. Now we'll go through all 5, pull it tight, and then one single crochet into the last 2. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now we got 3 bobbles there in that row. Now we're going to start going back down, doing 2 bobbles and then 1 bobble again. But first we got to do a row of single crochet, so you should have 9 single crochet. Here's 1, 2, the next one is on the top of this bobble, 3, and then in between, 4, and then on top of this bubble, 5, then in between, 6, on top of this bubble, 7, and then the last 2, 8, and 9. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do where we do 2 bobbles again. In that we do the 2 bobbles at number stitch 4 and stitch 6. So go ahead and 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3. Fourth one we do the bobble stitch in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, go through all 5, single crochet in the 5th stitch, the next one, the 6th one, gets a bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, pull it tight, and then 1 single crochet in the last 3, so that's 7, 8, and 9 all together. Remember, the 9 is always a magic number. Chain 1 and turn. So it's starting to look like it's supposed to. Now we got to do 1 single crochet in every stitch across, starting with this first one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4th one's on top of this bobble, 4, 5th one's in between, 5, the 6th one on top of this bobble, and then 7, 8, 9, and the last 3. Chain 1 and turn. Now we just got to do the 1 bobble, and that 1 bobble was at stitch 5 like we did down here. So we go ahead and 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one here we do the bobble. Yarn over, go through all 5, loops on your hook, single crochet in the next one, and the last one's here, and you should have a total of 9. Count that bobble, just like that. And that's it. Then we chain 1 and turn, and we got to do a row of single crochet again. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch. After every row that we do a bobble, we have to do a row of single crochet, and there's always be 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we just start again with doing 2 bobbles, then 3 bobbles, then 2 bobbles, then 1 bobble. So we just chain 1 and turn, and the 2 bobbles are at stitch 4 and 6, and the 3 bobbles are at stitch 3, 5, and 7, and then you just go back down to 2. Here, I'll show you my big one. Just like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. It's real easy. It's real easy to do. And you just have to do a row of single crochet after every row of bobbles. And you want to do that to get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets ending in 1 bobble. So you got, here's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, once you get your 5 sets of the bobbles done, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just did the row single crochet after the bobble. And now what I'm going to do is make some buttonholes. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So I'm not going to do any more bobbles. What I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then I'm going to do a chain of 2. 1, 2. Now I'm going to skip 2 and single crochet in the next. So skip, skip, put 1 single crochet into the next. Then I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. Skip 2 and put a single crochet into the last 2. So there's 1 and 2. So you got 2 little hole spots here. So now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. I'm going to single crochet in the first 2. So 1, 2. Now I'm going to put 2 single crochets right through this chain space. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet right here into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets right here through this chain space. 1, 2, and then 2 single crochets into the last 2 stitches. So 1 there, or 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the last 2. So you still should have a total of 9 single crochets. So now you got 2 buttonholes there. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And then I'm going to do another row of buttonholes. So I'm going to put single crochet into the first 2. 1, 2, chain 2, skip 2, single crochet into the next, chain 2, skip 2, and then 1 single crochet into each of the last 2. That way you'll have 2 sets of buttonholes. That way you can adjust it. And now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. 1 single crochet in the first 2. And then 1 single crochet in, or 2 single crochets in this chain 2 space here. 1, 2, 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Sorry if you hear that motorcycle just drove by. I got my window open, so I live by kind of by the main road, so there's always cars going by. You can probably hear it in my videos. Now 2 single crochets in this next chain 2 space. 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So now we got 2 sets of buttonholes, so you can adjust it. Now what I'm going to do is go around the whole entire piece with a row of single crochet just to clean up all these edges. So I'm just going to go around like this all the way back to my starting point. So I'm going to start by chaining 1 and coming right down here into this first stitch and putting a single crochet, and I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way down the side. And it's kind of hard to see where they go. Just kind of evenly space them out the best that you can. That's about what I have to do. And this is going to clean up this row, make it look nice and neat. Just like that. So I'm going to go all the way down this side, and I'll meet you down here at the corner. Okay, when you make it down here to this end, what we're going to do is put 3 single crochets in the corner, in each of the corners. So right here in this corner one, we're going to go ahead and put 3 single crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. That way it rounds the corner nicely, and it don't really stick up or nothing. Now I'm just going to continue across, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. And then when I get to the next corner here, I'm going to put 3 single crochets in it. Turn this around a little bit. There we go. So 3 single crochets in this corner. So there's 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to work my way down this side, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way down. And if you can't see them that well, just kind of evenly space out your single crochets. But see how much nicer that looks as opposed to this side that doesn't have no single crochet down it yet. It just looks a lot cleaner. So I'm going to continue down all the way up here, and when I get up to this side, I'll put 3 single crochets in this corner, and I'm going to come back to where I started. I'm back down here to where I started, but you want to make sure you go ahead and put 3 single crochets in this last stitch here. This last corner here. 1, 2, and 3. And then you want to slip stitch into your first single crochet you made. Not the chain 1, but that single crochet. And then you can tie that off and hide that tail. And then we'll be done after we sew the buttons on. And you can use any type of buttons that you want. With this, you might need to use some thicker buttons or some bigger buttons. You just want to, down here on this end that doesn't have the buttonholes, I'm just going to sew 2 buttons on with the regular threaded needle. And then once they're sewed on, you'll be able to flip this over and you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to sew them on the inside, I think. Like that. And that way when I flip them over, I can adjust them. They won't be seen on the outside. But I can adjust them. They go to the front set of buttonholes or the back set. And then it'll still be nice and neat. Because if you sew them on the front, I'm just thinking about that, and you use the back set of buttonholes, you're gonna have this big flap hanging over. So you don't want that. So take your buttons and sew them on the inside, and then button them around like that, and you'll have a nice clean flap here. And if you sew some on the back, that way that'll button close like that, and then you can sew some on the front, just for decoration. That's up to you. So I probably won't do that, but that's completely up to you. So you can just use your regular thread needle and sew them on the inside here like that, and then you'll be able to flip up, and you can use these 2 holes or these 2 holes to adjust. And if you don't mind the flat, you could sew them on the front if you wanted. But just remember, if you use these back 2 holes, it's kind of going to be flapping over a little bit, and I don't know if you really want that. So I'm going to go ahead and get these butts sewed on and hide all my tails.